In the last class, we learned about the need for English. What is the need of learning English? Now, today we are going to know some expressions that are used in the classroom. So, generally, uh, in the last class, you have come across some problems you face in learning English. So, one of those problems is that less exposure to the language. That is, you are not exposed to the language learning. That's why a classroom is a place where you are exposed to the language learning. Classroom is a place where you are exposed to the language learning. So that's why in the classroom, to speak in English, you need to know some expressions. Let us discuss what expressions do you use and your teacher uses in the classroom. Do you use and your teachers uses in the classroom. So in this class, you are able to identify useful expressions that you use in the classroom. Okay, you are going to identify the expressions useful in the classroom. Use classroom expressions meaningfully. Whenever there is a need of such an expression, you will use the appropriate expression. So after this class, you are going to know, you are going to learn these two things. So let's go to the class. Here is an activity for you. Our activity for you. First, how do you greet your teacher in the morning? How do you greet? By saying good morning, sir, or good morning, madam. This is one expression of greeting your teacher in the morning. If it is afternoon, generally it is good afternoon, good evening, the same way. How do you ask your teacher for permission to enter the class? When you are entering a classroom, how do you ask your teacher for permission? Think for a while. It is generally, the expression students generally use is, may I come in, teacher? So many students think that it is my come in, teacher. It's not my, it is may, M-A-Y, may I come in, teacher. Now take a notebook and think of a few expressions. Mention a few expressions which you frequently use in the classroom. Now take a notebook and note 2 or 3 expressions that you use in the classroom. Now keep the expressions with you. At the end of the class, let's see whether you have used the correct expressions or not. What does your teacher usually say before starting the lesson? think? What does your teacher usually say before starting a lesson? So generally she says, let's start the lesson. Let's begin the lesson. Okay, this is a common expression that a teacher uses. Now let's go for another. Read the following expressions. Okay, in the box, some expressions are provided for you. Make a tick mark in the appropriate column to indicate which statement is likely to be used by the teacher and by the student. So, if that expression is used by the teacher, put a tick mark for the teacher in the teacher column. If the expression is used by a student, put a tick mark in the student column. Now, take 1 minute time. Yes, now let's come. The first expression used here is copy this in your notebook. Generally, who says this? Copy this in your notebook. Teacher. It is an expression used by the teacher. The second one, don't start now. This is an expression used by a teacher. Normally, teacher uses this expression. May I go out to meet the principal? Generally, student asks permission for the teacher to meet the principal. That's why it is an expression used by a student. You may sit down. It's an expression used by the teacher. Give me some more examples. See, here give me some, it's not a polite form. When a student is speaking to a teacher, it will be in a very polite form. If the student wants to ask a teacher some examples, then it will be a polite form. So that's why here it indicates it is an expression used by a teacher. Settle down, let us not waste time. So this is also one expression used by the teacher, right? So you need to take down the expressions and then read it once or twice and try to use them whenever needed. Okay. Now look at these two. What are some classroom expressions used by students in the classroom in the following situations? Here some situations are given, and for those situations what the students express. It's an expression by the student. Greetings, that means how do students greet in the classroom. Ask for permission to leave the class. how do students ask permission to leave the class? Or what expression do the students use to leave the class? It means this. So that's why take down, write the answers for it. Okay. What expression do the students use to express greetings? In the classroom. So with the teacher, they say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. But when they meet their friends, look at the other side also. When they meet their friends, then they very informal greetings they give. How are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, good morning. This is the way they. Hi, how are you? Very good morning. These are some expressions. So generally we use good morning for teachers in a very formal way, but with friends very informal way. Ask for permission to leave the class. May I leave the class? Generally for permissions we use the word may I. May I leave the classroom? Okay, now let's think of some other expressions. And now go through these three questions. Write down what expressions do you use. So look at this. Ask the teacher for clarification. How do you ask your teacher for clarification? Could you please clarify me the doubt? Or could you please clarify me? This is how you ask your teacher. If you have written in some other way, maybe it is also correct. Ask the teacher for a similar word in your mother tongue. So, could you tell me the word for, whatever the word is, in our mother tongue? Could you tell me the similar word in our mother tongue? The next is ask the teacher to extend the deadline for the submission. Could you please extend the deadline for the submission? So these are some expressions. Now let's look at another exercise. Small one, very easy one. Here are some expressions used by the teacher. Remember, they are used by the teacher. Fill in the blanks. How do you fill in the blanks? In the first line, there are some words. Look at the words. Start the lesson. That is a phrase. Some words and phrases. Say, stand, louder today, open, many are absent. So these are some words and phrases given there. You fill the blanks with appropriate words and phrases given. Take a few minutes. Okay, I think you are unable to see the slide here, the last one. Okay, that's it. Can you speak it is? Now look at the answers. It's done for you. It is that's all for today. How many are absent today? Let's start the lesson. Open your books at page 10. Stand in a circle. Why don't you say it? Can you speak louder? Just fill the blanks. Copy down. I think you are able to fill the blanks. If you are able to fill the blanks, that means you are very well in learning. You can understand what English very well. Now look at another one. Here it's a very easy thing for you. Match the following. Here on the left side there are some phrases. On the right side also there are some words and phrases. You match the suitable one. Now I hope that you have matched it. Let's look at the answers in the next slide. So this is the matching. Check your what you have matched. Look at the first activity on page 24. Say it again. Not all at once. Don't have a discussion. Who knows the answer? Then, who is your partner? So, here there are two questions. You can easily guess the who are questions. Okay, and others you can see. Look at the first activity on page 24. In that way, you can easily match them. It's a very easy exercise. Now, you have used some of the expressions that are used by the teacher. Now, look at them. These are the expressions, some other expressions used by the teacher. That's all for today. How many are absent today? Let's start the lesson. Say it again. Come to the front. Please be quiet. Sit back to back. Repeat after me. Not all at once. So, these are some expressions that teacher uses commonly in a classroom. Now look at some more. Go on, Suresh. Copy this in your books. Can you find what is missing here? Will you complete it in 5 minutes? I think it's your turn now. Start now without wasting time. Sit back to back. Now copy these expressions in your notebook for practice. Okay, let's look at some other expressions also. These are all the expressions used by the teacher. Raise your hands. That's much better now. Come to the front. Can you all see? Stop talking and listen to the dialogue. Please be quiet. Settle down first. Stand side by side. Work in groups of 3. What did you say, Rani? Help me hang it there. Do you understand? So these are some expressions used by the teacher in the classroom. I think your teacher also uses these expressions in the classroom. Now let's move forward. So you learned that there are many expressions that are used by the teacher when she speaks. Now come to the students. Generally, what expressions do you use? How do I say that? I was absent on that day. Okay, it's day. I was absent on that day. Then, may I ask a question? Can you please repeat it? I don't have the book. May I come in? I would like to answer. It is not easy. So, these are some expressions used by you in the classroom. So, note down these expressions. Okay, now let's move to something different. Fill in the blanks. How do you fill in the blanks? In the first line, there are some words given to you. Like the words are, I'm going to read for you. Changes, class, on, copy, tomorrow, repeat, where. These are some words given to you. Now, make use of these words and fill in the blanks given. Take few minutes. Now look at the answers. The first is, can you please repeat it? Please permit me to attend the class. Where shall I keep this? Can we have a copy of that? Please suggest changes if necessary. The lights are on. Tomorrow is a holiday. So, note down the answers. Okay, now let's see. Match the following. This is an exercise for you. Match, there are two columns, okay, on the left side and the right side. So, match these two columns appropriately. The phrases in the first column are to be matched with the phrases in the second column appropriately. Now I'll give you 3 minutes time. Copy and match. Okay, let's look at the answer for it. Just go through the answers for it, and if you make correction if you have not matched properly. The room is not clean. Do you need some more chalk? Shall I keep the door open? I don't have the book. What is the Telugu word for it? All the students have left. So these are the answers for the match the following. If there are errors, please rectify them. Now, let us do another activity. Write as many expressions as possible with the following. So, there are three given. The first is please permit me, and blank is there. You can fill the blank with as many expressions, whatever the expression suits there, you can fill the blank. Then shall I, okay, then can you. Take a few minutes time. Okay, I think you have written at least two for each. Shall I expect it? Now look at the answers. The first is please permit me. Okay, you can use it this way. Please permit me to go out. Please permit me to attend the class. Please permit me to take the pen from my friend. Please permit me to meet the teacher during the class hour. Please permit me to take a notebook from my friend. Please permit me to sit. If you are standing and the teacher is not noticing you, then you can say take the permission of a teacher before sitting. So in this way, you can take as many permissions as possible with your teacher. Please permit me to take a leave tomorrow, or please permit me to go out in the second hour. Okay, or please permit me to meet the principal. This you can use a number of expressions. The next is shall I. Shall I switch on the fan? Shall I keep the door open? Shall I repeat it for you? Shall I go out? Shall I take a pen? So in this way, shall I bring chalk for you? So in this way, you can use a number of expressions with the words shall I. It depends on your ability, how many you make. Okay. Next is can you please. Can you please repeat it? Can you give a copy of that? Can you please extend the deadline for the assignment? I have come late. Can you please mark the attendance? Can you please recheck what I have done? So in this way, number of expressions you can use with the words can you. I have given only as examples as two on the slide. Now the next. Here are some fill in the blanks with suitable expressions. Here there is a conversation between a teacher and a student. The student's name is Sharif. So you read the conversation and fill in the blanks in the conversation. Okay. So here it's up to you how you generate a conversation. Okay. Sharif, why are you not doing the task? So what is he replying? So look at the answer afterwards. After the blank, there is an answer. Why? I think you had a book with you. So you expect the answer now. What Sharif has said. Sir, I did not have a book. The answer might be like this. So that's why. Why? I think you had a book with you. That's it. Yes, sir, I had one, but a blank is given. Now look at the teacher's reply for that. Where is John? So something related to John is asked here. So that's why you can say here it like this. Yes, sir, I had one, but what generally happens? We give the book to some people, some student. So I had one, but I gave it to John. So the teacher is saying, where is John? Sharif. So why he didn't bring the book? Generally, they take the book. It's a common phenomena in the class. They take the book and they'll be absent. Or he might have forgotten it. There are two reasons. So let's take the absence. So why, where is John? So John is absent today. Now the teacher is in that case, why don't you borrow a book from them? Them here means Jane and Jagan. So they are speaking. Who? Jane and Jagan. Them here refers to Jane and Jagan. Instead of that, he can sit here and do the activity with us. So what Jane and Jagan are replying? So instead of giving the book to them, it is better he come here and do the activity with them. Sharif. Okay, madam. That's fine, madam. And we as a group will do the task. So he is saying as a group they will do the task. Then the teacher replies, okay, complete. Generally tasks are completed. The assignment, whatever the task given is completed. So complete it in 10 minutes. So this is the conversation between a teacher and a student. Now let us look at another one. Use the following expressions. Develop a conversation between the teacher and the students. And the most important point you note down is it is not necessary that they should be used in order you find them. So they are in an order. It is not that you should use them in the same order. You can jumble them. Okay, wherever they fit, you can use them. Now take 1 minute. It's very easy for you to generate a conversation. do it. Okay, now look at the answer, how I have generated the conversation. Good morning, madam. Okay, good morning, have a nice day. The teacher is greeting here, have a nice day. And generally, when it comes to the class, she starts the lesson. Let's start. And she's starting. Tense means a form of a verb. Doesn't it mean time? And it is given in the conversation. No? Do you understand? So here I am using that. Do you understand? Then he is saying yes, the student. Then the teacher is asking a question. So, how many tenses are there? Can you answer? Student is replying 3. Each of the tens is subdivided into 4. Then the teacher is saying, that's right, let us discuss the present tense in detail tomorrow. This is how I generated the conversation. So you can write of your own. You can use some other sentences which are not mentioned here, and you can develop a conversation. And thank you. That's all for today. So today those are the expressions, many expressions we have come across that are used in the classroom. So just repeat or use those expressions in the classroom so that you can learn the language. And the most important thing with the language is spontaneity. You no need to think while speaking. Spontaneously it should come out, the words and the sentences should come out of your mouth. So that's all for today. Have good luck and have a nice day. Thank you.